Neither the Supreme Court or the White House have commented on the leak. Speaker of the House of Representatives Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, both Democrats, issued a joint statement saying that if the report was accurate, the Supreme Court is poised to inflict the greatest restriction of rights in the past 50 years. And for more on this, let's cross live to the US and join our US Washington correspondent, Eric Ham. Eric, what is it? Thank you for joining us here on Newsday today. Now tell us more about what is in this draft ruling and what it could mean for millions of women across the US.
Well, again, this was a leaked initial draft of a possible decision. We're not sure, in fact, if this is actually going to hold, and we're still trying to verify if this ruling actually will stand. But it's a rarity if, in fact, this is true, because the Supreme Court rarely leaks at all. But we do know, if we go back to President Barack Obama's Affordable Care Act, there was an initial decision that was drafted, but it was written differently for the final decision. So this could actually change. There's still a possibility of that. But right now, based on what we know, the court is looking as though they will strike down Roe v. Wade. Now, here's what this means, because right now there's growing concern that if this actually changes, that will outlaw abortion in the United States. That's simply not true. What it means is, if in fact Roe v. Wade is struck down, there will be a ban on federal abortions, but at the state level, abortion will still be the law of the land. But of course, that too is being curtailed, because what we know right now, 22 states in the United States have outlawed abortion. An additional 4 states are actually looking at outlawing abortion. And that will mean that you will have about 24 states where abortion is still legal. Now, based on that, what we are now seeing is in states like California, the governor has already said that he will work with the legislature to add in their constitution, the state constitution, to protect a woman's right to choose. So what we're seeing right now is the culture wars in the United States ramping up, and clearly the divide is growing much, much bigger. And of course, this is going to have a tremendous impact on not only the outcome of the midterm elections, which are just about 6 months away, but right now, and not only is a woman's right to choose on the line, but there are many who believe that based on this decision, if in fact it holds, we could see women actually being relegated to second class citizens as a result of this law. And also, just to state, in many states where abortion is actually banned right now, what we are seeing is it is banned not only for just abortion, but it's also banned also in cases of rape, incest, and even if the mother's life is at stake. So we're not only seeing conservative situations being played out, but many actually deem these situations as actually radical. And quite frankly, this now puts the United States, if this holds true, in a category of a handful of states where countries where you see abortion actually constricting, not actually expanding.
Well, Eric, so tell us more about the reaction that you've been getting since this ruling was leaked.
Well, right now, we're seeing, depending on what side of the aisle that you're on, conservatives are very thrilled about this. Look, you got to go back 50 years in the United States when Roe v. Wade was actually adjudicated in 1973. That is the moment that conservatives across this country made this a central issue for their side, and it was something that they have fought for ever since, to overturn this law. And this morning, of course, Democrats are outraged. We have already heard from the Speaker of the House, the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, on this issue. We are now seeing that Democrats are poised to fight against this. And here's where this gets interesting. We know heading into the midterm elections, Republicans were enthusiastic. They were excited about what was taking place with the midterm elections. There was energy on the right. This decision could also galvanize Democrats in a way that we have not seen heading into the midterm elections, because right now, a woman's right to choose is on the line. And what we are seeing now is Democrats are energized. Democrats could be outraged by what we're seeing play out. But again, it's unclear right now because we still don't have the actual decision. And even if this is the ruling that the justices are going to make, it still is about 1 month to 2 months away before we actually get the official ruling from the Supreme Court.
All right, Eric, do we know how this was leaked from the Supreme Court in the first case? And this is really unprecedented.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, this is just something that does not happen. And since we got this leaked ruling, we have been trying to determine how, in fact, this got out. Who leaked this document? Clearly, today there is a Supreme Court justice clerk whose career is on the line. We're expecting that there will be an investigation as to how this happened, how this got out, because this is something that does not happen. But what it potentially speaks to is either the court has become hyper partisan and politicized, or someone has recognized or someone has made the suggestion that they needed to leak this as a way to shield the nation for what is to come. Make no mistake about it. This actually was sending shock waves through the entire nation this morning, and people are concerned about what this means. As we know that abortion clinics across the country are going to be closing. And it's important to note that who will be most affected by this ruling will be low-income women, largely minority women, and poor women. Women who need this the most, women who need this type of health care. And so this is actually going to be made concerning across the board. And the question becomes, is this the slippery slope? And do we see other radical changes by the Supreme Court that will impact not just women, but, of course, minorities and other people of color?
So, Eric, what does this all mean, for the upcoming midterms elections in November?
What this has done is, if this ruling is true, if it holds, what this does is this shakes up the races because, again, typically the president's party will lose seats in a midterm election. But when you have such a seismic shift in policy, such a seismic shift in law, such a seismic shift that will shape millions, tens of millions of people, that will have an impact. Because remember, in the United States, you have more women than men, and you have more women going to the polls than men. So clearly this could have an impact on what that means for how people will vote. And it could be women that will either keep the power in Democrats' hands, or that will shift the power to Republicans. And if Republicans get control, what we are told is they will actually pass legislation that will ban abortion at the federal level completely.
Eric Ham, our correspondent in Washington, D.C., thank you very much for your time here on Newsday.